Well, today is March 15th, and you guys had your first day back in school today, sort of. I went to go watch you guys go off to your classes. At least, I watched The Spy and The King go to his class. That was nice, but it was also kind of sad. All the teachers and volunteers were just absolutely paranoid. One woman just screamed at a parent who obviously English was her second language, just yelled at her and just put a bad taste in my mouth. Just didn't like it. I don't like the paranoia. There's got to be a better way. Just everyone's a little crazy now. That sucks. And it really isn't going to go away. I don't see this kind of paranoia going away. I'm kind of out of breath. I ran up the stairs, and I am tired. Your mom's a little concerned about my health. She probably should be, because I am not in good shape. I used to be in great shape, but that was like 20 years ago. So, okay. We're on chapter 16. So I'm just scoping to see how far I should go. Maybe I'll go. I'll try to get through chapter 19 today. We'll see. We will see. Anyways. All right. Chapter 16, Bread from Heaven. They set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the people of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they had departed from the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the people of Israel said to them, "Would that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the meat pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Behold, I am about to rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may test them, whether they will walk in my law or not. On the sixth day, when they prepare what they bring in, it will be twice as much as they gather daily." So Moses and Aaron said to all the people of Israel, "At evening you shall know that it was the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your grumbling against the Lord. For what are we that you grumble against us?" And Moses said, "When the Lord gives you in the evening meat to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, because the Lord has heard your grumbling, that you grumble against him, what are we? Your grumbling is not against us, but against the Lord." Then Moses said to Aaron, "Say to the whole congregation of the people of Israel, 'Come near before the Lord, for he has heard your grumbling.' And as soon as Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the people of Israel, they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord said to Moses, 'I have heard grumbling of the people of Israel. Say to them, at twilight you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread. Then you shall know that I am the Lord your God.' In the evening quail came up and covered the camp, and in the morning dew lay around the camp. And when the dew had gone up, there was on the face of the wilderness a fine flake-like thing, fine as frost on the ground. When the people of Israel saw it, they said to one another, 'What is it?' They did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, 'It is the bread that the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Gather of it, each one of you, as much as you can eat. You shall each take an omer, according to the number of persons that each of you has in his tent.' And the people of Israel did so. They gathered, some more, some less, but when they measured it with an omer, I don't know what an omer is, we'll figure that out, whoever gathered much had nothing left over, and whoever gathered little had no lack. Each of them gathered as much as they could eat. And Moses said to them, 'Let no one leave any of it over till the morning.' But they did not listen to Moses. Some left part of it till the morning, and it bred worms and stank, and Moses was angry with them. Morning by morning they gathered, and each as much as they could eat. But when the sun grew hot, it melted. On the sixth day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers each. And what the heck is an omer? Slightly more than 2 quarts. That's what my Bible says. And when all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moses, he said to them, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Tomorrow is a day of solemn rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you will bake, and boil what you will boil, and all that is left over lay aside to be kept till morning." So they laid it aside till morning, as Moses commanded them, and it did not stink, and there were no worms in it. Moses said, "Eat it today, for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is a Sabbath, there will be none." On the 7th day some of the people went out to gather, but they found none. And the Lord said to Moses, "How long will you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, the Lord has given you the Sabbath. Therefore, on the 6th day he gives you bread for 2 days. Remain each of you in his place. Let no one go out of his place on the 7th day." So the people rested on the 7th day. Now the house of Israel called its name manna. It was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. Moses said, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Let an omer of it be kept throughout your generations, so that they may see the bread with which I fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you out of the land of Egypt." And Moses said to Aaron, "Take a jar and put an omer of manna in it, and place it before the Lord to be kept throughout your generations." As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron placed it before the testimony to be kept. The people of Israel ate the manna 40 years, till they came to a habitable land. They ate the manna till they came to the border of the land of Canaan. Chapter 17. Here's the water and the rock I talked about prematurely earlier. All the congregation of the people of Israel moved on from the wilderness of Sin by stages, according to the commandment of the Lord, and camped at Rephidim, but there is no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people quarreled with Moses and said, "Give us water to drink." And Moses said to them, "Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you test the Lord?" But the people thirsted there for water, and the people grumbled against Moses and said, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst?" So Moses cried to the Lord, "What shall I do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me." And the Lord said to Moses, "Pass on before the people, taking with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the staff with which you struck the Nile, and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock at Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water shall come out of it, and the people will drink." Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel, and he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the quarreling of the people of Israel, and because they tested the Lord by saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" Then Amalek came and fought with Israel and Rephidim. So Moses said to Joshua, "Choose for us men and go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand." So Joshua did as Moses told him and fought with Amalek, while Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. Whenever Moses held up his hand, Israel prevailed, and whenever he lowered his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands grew weary, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it, while Aaron and Hur held up his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side. So his hands were steady until the going down of the sun, and Joshua overwhelmed Amalek and his people with the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Write this as a memorial in a book and recite it in the ears of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven." And Moses built an altar and called the name of it, "The Lord is my banner," saying, "A hand upon the throne of the Lord. The Lord will have war with Amalek, and from generation to generation." Let's see where we are so far. Sorry, just 9 minutes. Hang on one second. Chapter 18. And I come back to this chapter quite a bit. When you have to, when you put too much on your plate. Delegation is really important when you're a leader. And anyways, chapter 18. Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel's people, how the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. Now Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, had taken Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her home, along with her 2 sons. The name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. And the name of the other, Eleazar, for he said, the God of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. And when he sent word to Moses, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and your 2 sons. Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other for their welfare, and went into a tent. Then Moses pretty much, welcome, how are you doing? That's pretty much what the conversation seems like. Then Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord has done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them in the way, and how the Lord had delivered them. And Jethro had rejoiced for all the good that the Lord had done to Israel, and that he had delivered them out of the hand of the Egyptians. Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, because in this affair they dealt arrogantly with the people. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, brought a burnt offering and sacrifices to God, and Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. The next day Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood around Moses from morning till evening. When Moses' father-in-law saw all that he was doing for the people, he said, What is this that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit alone, and all the people stand around you from morning till evening? And Moses said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to inquire of God. And when they have a dispute, they come to me, and I decide between one person and another, and I make them know the statutes of God and his laws. Jethro said to him, What you are doing is not good. You and the people with you will certainly wear yourselves out, for the thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to do it alone. Now obey my voice. I will give you advice, and God will be with you. You shall represent the people before God, and bring their cases to God. And you shall warn them about the statutes and the laws, and make them know the way in which they must walk and what they must do. Moreover, look for able men from all the people, men who fear God, who are trustworthy and hate a bribe, and place such men over the people as chiefs of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. Let them judge the people at all times. Every great matter they shall bring to you, but any small matter they shall decide themselves, so it will be easier for you, and they will bear the burden with you. If you do this, God will direct you, and you will be able to endure, and all the people also will go to their place in peace. So Moses listened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. Moses chose able men out of all of Israel and made them heads over the people, chiefs of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. And they judged the people at all times. Any hard case they brought to Moses, but any small matter they decided themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went away from to his own country. Let me see. Let me finish 19. That was chapter 18. Let me finish 19. I'd love to get into the 10 Commandments, but there's so much to unpack there. I'd rather wait a little bit. So, because I have a lot of things to say about the 10 Commandments and the chapters after that. Chapter 19, Israel at Mount Sinai. On the 3rd new moon after the people of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, on that day they came into the wilderness of Sinai. They set out from Rephidim and came into the wilderness of Sinai, and they encamped in the wilderness. There Israel encamped before the mountain. While Moses went up to God, the Lord called to him out of the mountain, saying, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and tell the people of Israel, You yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all the peoples of all the earth, for all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Just gonna get my pen out. 1 second. These are the words that you shall speak to the people of Israel. So Moses came and called the elders, the people, and set before them all these words that the Lord had commanded him. All the people answered together and said, All that the Lord has spoken we will do. And Moses reported the words of the people to the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I am coming to you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and may also believe you forever. When Moses told the words of the people to the Lord said to Moses, Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their garments and be ready for the third day. For on the third day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. And you shall set limits for the people all around, saying, Take care not to go up the mountain, or touch the edge of it. Whoever touches the mountain shall be put to death. No hand shall touch him, but he shall be stoned or shot. Whether beast or man, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds a long blast, they shall come up to the mountain. So Moses went down from the mountain to the people and consecrated the people, for they washed their garments. And he said to the people, Be ready, for the third day do not go near a woman. On the morning of the third day there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud of the mountain and very loud trumpet blast, so that all the people in the camp trembled. Then Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God, and they took their stand at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was wrapped in smoke because the Lord had descended on it in fire. The smoke of it went up like smoke of a kiln, and the whole mountain trembled greatly. And as the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him in thunder. The Lord came down on Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain, and the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. And the Lord said to Moses, Go down and warn the people, lest they break through to the Lord, to look, and many of them perish. Also let the priests who come near the Lord consecrate themselves, lest the Lord break out against them. And Moses said to the Lord, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you yourself warned us, saying, Set limits around the mountain and consecrate it. And the Lord said to him, Go down and come up, bringing Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them. So Moses went down to the people and told them. I think now would be a good time to stop. It's 12:39. It's just about 17 minutes. Not a long one. I think I want to finish. I want to do a little bit more reading about chapters 20 through 25. I think I'm going to probably do later on tonight. You can't do it alone. And this is just amazing advice from his father-in-law. What a blessing for his father-in-law to take him and say, You are exhausting yourself. You cannot do this alone. Find able-bodied men that can help you. So what I would tell you is, you really can't go your life alone. Find able-bodied men and women who would build you up and build into you. Not just regular things, but in your life, in your walk with Jesus Christ. You must have friends that are believers, that have walks with Christ. Not just people that say they believe, and they never go to church, they never talk about Jesus, and they never talk about maybe struggles or, if someone says they're a Christian, but you didn't know it at all, unless they told you, there's a strong chance they're not a Christian. We model Christ through our actions, not with our words. That's really important. So hopefully these verses and these chapters find you well. Ask for help. Someone's just trying to call me. My phone was off. Ask for help when you can. Make sure the people that help you are honorable. And we are back, children. What time is it? 6 a.m. It's March 16th, Tuesday, 2021. I couldn't sleep, and usually on the first day of school, I buy a few dozen donuts for the teachers, and I put them in the front of the school. I didn't know if they would even eat them because of the pandemic, but I texted your principal, and she said everybody's vaccinated, so I don't see why it would be a problem. I would have done it yesterday, but I slept in. I blinked my eyes, and it was 6:30 a.m. So luckily, I didn't have really good sleep tonight, last night, and I woke up at 5, and I got out of bed at 5:30. Boy, I'm tired. And your mom has not been sleeping for hours. I'm on a really bad road. That's why it's really bumpy. So I'm on Hesperian Boulevard in San Lorenzo. I just drove to the donut shop that I really love. grew up going to. It's under new management, which is a problem for me because things taste different. So I don't know if I'm going to be coming back to this place. I know the old owners. They told me they sold it last year. We were in Mexico from January 2020 to July, and the last time I went to this donut shop was probably December 2020. And a few months ago I went to it, and I brought some donuts home, and I noticed that things just didn't taste right. The jelly tasted really cheap. It didn't taste like the raspberry jelly or jam they used in the jelly donuts. There wasn't that much glaze on the raised glazed donuts, which were like the best ever. And the donut box didn't have a lot of yawning a lot. The donut box, like after a few hours, didn't have that much like oil at the bottom of it. I don't know, things didn't seem right. I got a blueberry cake donut, and usually those are really good. Didn't taste like anything. And so I did some research, and I found, turns out, about a few weeks before we moved to live in Mexico, this donut shop sold their interest to some other company. So that's kind of sad. Anyways, I'm at Llewellyn and Hesperian. I don't know if I'm going to take the freeway. It's early. Maybe I'll just take side streets home. I like taking side streets home alone. Just maybe listen to music or not. It's calming. I'm going to get into chapters 20 through maybe 25 next in Exodus. And I did some research. The term slavery is not what we think is slavery. Actually, God is pretty clear on that. Chapter 21 talks about, I believe, and we'll get into it, but I was doing some research last night, reading some notes, and in chapter 21, you're going to see God, through Moses, talk about how evil slave traders are. They also mention it in not just the Old, but also in the New Testament. I think in 1 Timothy, I'm only speaking from memory, but how they are the worst of the worst people. Nowadays, we still have slave traders. It's called human trafficking. Not pretty much one of the worst crimes, I think. One of the worst clients I've ever had was someone who did human trafficking. And oh my gosh. By the time you listen to this, he'll probably still be in prison. Let's hope. The guy put a contract out on my life for a while. I wouldn't say it was very serious. He had no money. No one's going to kill a lawyer for nothing. I mean, I would, but that's because I just don't like him. I don't like any lawyer, So we are getting into the Ten Commandments. Once we finish Exodus, we're going to get into the other books, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers, probably not in that order because I'm really tired. But Leviticus is interesting. It lays out a lot more laws. I believe 613 Levitical laws. Those should be fun to go through. And then I actually believe that. I don't like when pastors or regular people just say, skip Numbers, skip Leviticus. Those laws aren't really, those don't matter anymore. They kind of still do. Numbers is interesting. It's a book of history. It's not just a book of numbers. It's a book of migration. It's a book of God's chosen people. And it's fascinating. It's the same thing, I believe, with, I think it's Matthew or John. One of the Gospels, I think it's Matthew. It talks about pretty much the genealogy of Jesus Christ. From Adam to Jesus. And people, I've actually heard pastors, not at my church, but I've heard pastors say, just skip through that. It's like, why? That's so fascinating. And we have archaeological evidence to back that stuff up. As I was waiting in line to buy 7 dozen donuts this morning. I looked on Facebook, and hopefully you guys don't have. Hopefully Facebook's good and gone by the time you guys are around. When you're like my age, I looked on the web, internet, and it looks like they found more documents, more Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm yawning up a storm. Anyways, so I'm gonna look more into that later. Archaeology really fascinates me. There is proof out there that I don't like the term religion, that our faith is correct. And nothing has ever refuted it. No science, nothing like that will ever refute it, and probably ever will refute it. I'm on Llewellyn, about to turn right on. Let's read this. It's like the end of Llewellyn. It's Wicks. Turn right on Wicks, which, fun fact, your mom and I had our wedding reception on Wicks Boulevard at the San Leandro Marina, the San Leandro Community Center. It was an amazing party. So on Wicks, I'm going to sign off for now. I'm yawning a lot. It probably doesn't sound great. I'm going to get home, help your mom get in the shower. We'll probably shower together, because we like doing that. You guys know. And then we're going to wake you guys up and get you guys ready to go. I'm excited to watch you guys get ready for school. I am so glad I don't have to go to school anymore. No, it's been years. So nice. Anyways, I love you. Sign off for now, but the next thing you hear, I'm going to be reading chapters 20 through, hopefully 25. Go through the 10 Commandments. It's going to be fun. And in a way humorous, based on what the Israelites do when they get the first volume of 10 Commandments. Anyways, love you. See you soon. Let me turn this thing off. There we go. So, I got home, took a shower like I said we would, got you kids ready, and got you out the door. And getting children out the door for school is very difficult. One day, I hope you all enjoy having your own children, whether natural or adopted. And I really hope that you have many children so you could fully appreciate the challenges of getting many children ready for school and then out the door on time. Your mother and I have two different philosophies, which always causes arguments. It's my philosophy that being on time is paramount to everything else. And at times it feels like everything else, like to your mom, everything else is paramount instead of getting there on time. So it's a fun morning, but glad to be at work. Sorry I keep yawning. I think it's just talking a lot. I don't do a lot of talking out loud at my job. I quietly type. I watch Netflix as I do a lot of boring work and communicate with people, and so it gets complicated what I do. Let's see, where are we going? Let's do the next couple chapters, and then we'll call it. And chapter 20, the 10 Commandments. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, or serve them, for I am the Lord your God, am a jealous God. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers of the children of the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is in your neighbor's. Now when all the people saw the thunder and the flashes of lightning and the sound and the trumpet and the mountain smoking, the people were afraid and trembled, and they stood far off and said to Moses, You speak to us, and we will listen, but do not let God speak to us, lest we die. Moses said to the people, Do not fear, for God has come to test you, that the fear of him may be before you, that you may not sin. The people stood far off while Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said to Moses, Thus you shall say to the people of Israel, You have seen for yourselves that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make gods of silver to be with me, nor shall you make for yourselves gods of gold. An altar of earth you shall make for me, and sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I cause my name to be remembered, I will come to you and bless you. If you make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it of hewn stones, for it would wield your tool on if you profane it. And you shall not go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness be not exposed to it. Chapter 21. Laws about slaves. Remember, we talked about this earlier. Now these are the rules that you shall set before them when you buy a Hebrew slave. He shall serve 6 years, and in the seventh he shall go free for nothing. If he comes in single, he shall go out single. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go with him. If his master gives him a wife, and she bears him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out alone. But if the slave plainly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him to God, and he shall bring him to the door of the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall be his slave forever. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. If she does not please her master, who has designated her for himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to a foreign people, since he has broken faith with her. If he designates her for his son, he shall deal with her as with a daughter. If he takes another wife to himself, he shall not diminish her food, her clothing, or her marital rights. And if he does not do these 3 things for her, she shall go out for nothing without payment of money. Whoever strikes a man so that he dies shall be put to death. But if he did not lie in wait for him, but God let him fall into his hand, then I will appoint for you a place to which he may flee. But if a man willfully attacks another to kill him by cunning, you shall take him from my altar, that he may die. Whoever strikes his father or his mother shall be put to death. Whoever steals a man and sells him, and anyone found in possession of him, shall be put to death. Whoever curses his father or his mother shall be put to death. When men quarrel, and one strikes the other with a stone or with his fist, and the man does not die but takes to his bed, then if the man rises again and walks outdoors with his staff, he who struck him shall be clear. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall have him thoroughly healed. When a man strikes his slave, male or female, with a rod, and the slave dies under his hand, he shall be avenged. But if the slave survives a day or two, he is not to be avenged, for the slave is his money. This comes up a lot in social media. This quote, again, it's servant. The translation's a little wonky, but pretty much it's don't abuse your slave. If you kill your slave, you're going to be put to death. But if you But if the slave does not die, nothing will happen to you. When men strive together and hit a pregnant woman so that her children come out, but there is no harm, The one who hit her shall surely be fined, as the woman's husband shall impose on him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. But if there is a harm, then you shall pay life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. When a man strikes the eye of his slave, male or female, and destroys it, he shall let the slave go free because of his eye. If he knocks out the tooth of a slave, male or female, he shall let the slave go free because of his tooth. When an ox gores a man or a woman to death, the ox shall be stoned, and its flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall not be liable. But if the fox had been accustomed to gore in the past, and its owner had been warned, but has not kept it in, and it kills a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner also shall be put to death. If that's like the law of foreseeable consequences. That's like the Paul's graph case in torts. Oh gosh. Sorry. I hope maybe one of you became a lawyer, you'd be laughing at this point about Paul's graph. Anyways. If a ransom is imposed on him, then he shall give for the redemption of his life whatever is imposed on him. If it gores a man's son or daughter, he shall be dealt with according to this same rule. If the ox gores a slave, male or female, the owner shall give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. When a man opens a pit, or when a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls into it, the owner of the pit shall make restoration. He shall give money to its owner, and the dead beast shall be his. When one man's ox butts another's, so that it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and share its price, and the dead beast also they shall share. Or if it is known that the ox has been accustomed to gore in the past, and its owner has not kept it in, he shall repay ox for ox, and the dead beast shall be his. It's fascinating rules we're going through. A lot of things about slaves and their treatment. I wish I did more research just to see what they meant by a lot of that stuff. If you kill like another man's slave, or if your ox gores another slave, then that gives 30 shekels. Doesn't seem like a lot. Anyways, it's gonna be a long day, and I hope to be very productive today. Tomorrow is my oldest child's birthday, the entrepreneur. I will give a lengthy talk tomorrow about the birth story, and your mom will tell you it every year. Anyways, you were definitely a surprise. 3.5 weeks early. My God. So, hope you have a wonderful day, children. I love you very much. And in everything, do it for the kingdom and the king.